Hello, I am Allison Coy, Director of Educational Options, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the middle college class of 2020. When we started this school year, none of us could have anticipated where we would be right now, holding a remote graduation after more than 3 months of remote learning. It certainly wasn't what any of us wanted for you. However, it is no surprise that our middle college students rose to the occasion and made the very best out of a difficult situation. We salute you and are so very proud of your perseverance and optimism. Supported by FUHSD Superintendent Polly Bovey and the FUHSD Board of Trustees, and Judy Miner, Chancellor of the Foothill De Anza Community College District and the Foothill De Anza Board of Trustees, Middle College is a unique partnership between the two districts. We are so grateful for this partnership that allows us to offer the Middle College program. As we begin this graduation, I want to acknowledge and thank the Middle College staff. Assistant Principal Laura Gonzalez, Guidance Counselor Tamara Emmert, 11th grade teachers Mary Hill and Crystal Daglish, and 12th grade teachers Dina Zlotsever and Sean Morrison. Without them, this program would not be in place. With that, I would like to welcome up to the stage Dina Zlotsever.
Hello, my name is Dina Zlotsever, and I'm the senior English teacher with the Middle College program. Though I feel deep pride and excitement at the accomplishment of my students, I also feel saddened that we are not able to be physically close on this auspicious occasion. Too, I am filled with gratitude at having had the pleasure of knowing and teaching you this last year. As half of you already know, I am a lover of words. This should come as no surprise given my occupation, but I will enjoy clarifying exactly what I mean by this. I love the texture, the sound, the incandescent magic of words. I love the power words carry, even in their simplicity, to shoot right to the heart, to create a bridge to feeling, to a deeper knowing, and to truth. This year, I asked each of my students through the course syllabus 2 piercing questions, which thematically formed the whole of our study this year. What do we owe to ourselves? And what do we owe to each other? Recently, we concluded our poetry unit, my favorite unit, of course, but this year we did something a little different. I wanted the minute technical aspects of poetry to take a backseat and really encounter poetry together. To do this, I asked friends and former students to select their favorite poem, one bearing personal significance, and record themselves performing it, sharing its importance. This way, we could experience together real and organic impact from works. The essence of these poems ranged from helpful wisdoms which guided their reader through grief or crisis, to playful works which inspired curiosity and wonder. I was moved by these offerings and delighted in the discussions and the work that they produced. However, I never shared the poem that was most significant to me. And so, as a last gift to the class of 2020, I offer you the best, most enduring gift that I could possibly think of. the incandescent magic of words. The poem is titled The Way It Is by William Stafford. This is a poem that struck me immediately upon first hearing it. It's a poem that grounds me when uncertainty abounds, or when in the chaos and confusion of life's unraveling, I have momentarily abandoned myself. It is a poem that offers me simple comfort and always brings me back home to myself. The Way It Is by William Stafford. There's a thread you follow. It goes among things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder about what you are pursuing. You have to explain about the thread. But it is hard for others to see. While you hold it, you can't get lost. Tragedies happen, people get hurt or die, and you suffer and get old. Nothing you do can stop time's unfolding. You don't ever let go of the thread. This poem asks, what is your thread? For some, the thread may be love, friendship, compassion, courage, or any number of noble virtues. This thread that you follow may be God or some other individual spiritual pursuit, or perhaps the thread is not so easily defined by words, but rather remains something visceral, something felt. I see the shadow of the thread in the stories and shared experiences of my beloved students. It's there, as Alay describes riding his bike down the hill to 7-Eleven, arms outstretched, wind against his face, all for an ice-cold Coca-Cola. It's there as Nive sings La Mer, or Romy curates that perfect Spotify playlist, or Valeryia deeply interprets 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. It was there as Charles got his first look at Denali, or in the moments recalled by Chris, Emma, and Claire in their autumnal Thanksgiving festivities. It's present as Roee faithfully refs a basketball game, or when Angela bakes for her elderly neighbors, or even when Vinay eats steaks with the boys. Or when you dance, perfect that monologue, or capture the perfect moment in one of your films or photographs. Too, the shadow of the thread is there for Mollie in the lone word, Gilman. So why does any of this matter? Well, life is beautiful and hard and ever moving. Like myself, my guess is that you will come to both love this and hate this. It will cause you great joy and sometimes the deepest pain. The current state of things certainly is an apt illustration of this, the world's capacity to both amaze and shock, enact both wonder and fear. And when this seems to change hour by hour or from day to day, one starts to feel a bit untethered, unsettled, or confused at how best to move forward. And when I find myself in that place, as I often have and likely will continue to, I cling to the thread. The thing that reminds me who I am and what I am capable of withstanding. It is the anchor point from which I will continue to meet the world. So here's the final lesson. The answer to the questions we asked ourselves. What do we owe to ourselves and what do we owe to each other? I put it to you that above the other necessary elements to our survival, we owe it to ourselves to find, define, and cultivate the thread. And obviously then we owe it to each other to share these things. Just as we experienced the richness of those shared poems and the vulnerability of their readers, we were bolstered by their struggles and spurred on by their inspiration. So too, I hope that each one of you will seek out the thread that is innate to you and follow it. And then have the courage to share it. With that, I would like to introduce the first of our 2 student speakers. I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Arya Badra.
I never thought I would be giving a graduation speech. I always thought they were for valedictorians, leadership students, the best athletes, or those who were in the most clubs. And I? None of these things. But here I am in front of you today. I would like to start by saying that yes, it is unfortunate that we do not get to have normal graduation ceremony and celebrate all we have accomplished so far. We have watched every generation before us have their moment, They got their proms and graduations and all-night parties. And all of a sudden, the pandemic came along and said, class of 2020, I dare you to be different. Even though we do not get to celebrate in the same way as those who came before us, we are going down in history as the class of 2020. The class who held their heads high and overcame the unfortunate circumstances we face today. Because even amongst it all, we're still graduating. And someday we will look back and be able to say, I was a quarantine graduate. And I think that sounds pretty badass. The class of 2020 is different. We all came to middle college because we didn't fit in at our home high schools. We chose to take a different path than many of our peers. We chose the opportunity to become college students before graduating high school. We chose to come to a place where we would be recognized and cherished for the people we are, even when we are not valedictorians or student council presidents. We chose different. If middle college has taught me anything, it is this. Being different is a heck of a lot more fun than fitting into the mold that we have been primed for our whole lives. I came to middle college looking for a place where I wasn't stuck in a cycle. Back in my home school, I felt unchallenged, never had a real interest in any subject, and because I was like every other student trudging through the halls, it seemed like I didn't exist. I never felt like I actually mattered. In middle college, I finally felt like I had control of my own life. I was able to take classes in subjects that interest me. I learned that I actually love early morning classes. And I didn't have everyone telling me to choose a California school or take every honors or AP class in order to even get into a good school. I was able to make my own decisions about my life. I also learned that middle college is a place where no one is alike. I was surrounded by people who came from a variety of backgrounds, had different passions, and lived life in their own unique ways. And I can truly say that I have never met such a group of authentic and amazing people. People who accepted me for me and saw me beyond my grades and test scores. People I never expected to become great friends with. People who are always down for a spontaneous Chick-fil-A run, or will sit with me late at night in Memorial Park, talking about life as it is, or as we like it to be. Even though I didn't take every AP and honors class, join every club, decide to go to a UC or Ivy League school, or follow the exact path the world expected me to, I am here giving a graduation speech. It's because I never let anyone else's opinions stop me. I had countless people telling me I would get burned out from working, playing a sport, and taking 6 or 7 classes at once. They all thought they knew what was best for me, as if they knew me better than I knew myself. But I had set a goal for myself, formed my dream, and went after it. That is the path I followed. This is my different, and my different makes me happy. So don't fear being different. Remember, being different is what brought you here. It is not another's chosen path that is meant to define yours and whether or not you are successful. You can never live the life of your dreams by settling for someone else's ideas. Ideas about going to college, the kinds of grades we should be getting, or what career to pursue. And because I believe this so strongly, I'll say it again. You can never live the life of your dreams by settling for someone else's ideas. As we graduate, we will continue to choose different paths to follow and strive for different goals as we have always done. It is not what you do that is important. What is important is that you are happy with yourself and the decisions you make about your life. And I wish the best of luck to each and every one of you as you continue on your own paths. Here's to being different, and here's to us, the middle college class of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Arya. And with that, I have the pleasure of announcing our second student speaker today, Ms. Sam De La Fuente.
I'm afraid of public speaking. In the 5th grade, I got hit with stage fright during my show and tell presentation, peed my pants, and ran out in a fit of tears. If I'm being completely honest, it goes against everything in my nature to stand in front of a bunch of people and say something. I wanted to speak today because even though life doesn't normally give us second chances, this speech is mine. Today, we have to say goodbye to everything, and all I want is for it to be right. So I'm standing in front of you, scared out of my mind and trying not to show it. But I hope that I'm doing it justice. At first, coming to middle college was a choice to be made about who I wanted to be. There was always a part of me that wanted to be popular or win prom queen, and I didn't want to miss out on the perfect high school experience. I just wanted to walk down those halls and feel accepted. Thankfully, middle college gave me an opportunity to find out who I was without the pressures of fitting in. I came to middle college for the promise of a second chance at high school, and while I wasn't the prom queen, I had found a place where I truly belonged, and I wouldn't give that up for anything. My initial feelings at that first orientation revolved around this giant fear that I wouldn't make any friends. But even just sitting there in that group of 29 juniors, I could tell everything was going to be different. I met people that were witty and honest, with the weirdest and best senses of humor. We went to that classroom every day of the week, and somehow we made it into an adventure. We bonded over the free PB&Js during break, and became quite the giant dysfunctional family. Most importantly, we came as we were, not faking perfection or pretending to be someone else, but being unapologetic about who we are, imperfections included. Middle college wasn't a place where you had to brave the weight of life on your own, because we weren't just classmates. The people, the friends that I made, they were all ears when I needed someone to talk to and made me laugh even on my worst days. And in the moments when I thought the whole world was conspiring against me, I felt like I always had someone to turn to. As junior year came to a close and senior year crept up on us, our family gained valuable new members. It was hard to adjust to the doubling in size at first, but it didn't take long to find out that these new kids were everything we could have asked for. We got through the awkwardness of orientation week and discovered that our first challenge to face together was going to be the higher standards of senior level work. Sean and Dina told us to wake up and work harder because they weren't going to tolerate any slacking off this year. Fortunately, as middle college students, we have the not yet, which is a grade for work that is rough around the edges and given a chance to redeem itself. I'm sure most of us have been gifted with the experience of a not yet once or twice during our time at middle college. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, but I've turned in some work I'm not proud of, all because of the guarantee that I can have another shot at it and hopefully I can do it right. But while the not yet has been both a friend and an enemy, we have learned from it. It means that while grades are important, what we feel and what we are going through matters. The not yet is not only a way for us to accept responsibility for what we put out into this world, but acted as second chances when we needed it most. It means that we are allowed to fail, but most of all, we are allowed to pick ourselves back up again and try all over because we are strong enough. It means that we may just very well be able to do this. Dina, Sean, I don't know how you survived us. Every single day we pushed your limits and tested your patience. We wrote our happiness essays and made Dina grade them like 3 times, maybe even 4. We got to be Supreme Court justices and lawyers, milking all of the power that came with it. We treated that whiteboard like a blank canvas, drawing cartoons, posing questions, and starting new games of hangman. We ran out of class during 10-minute breaks and pretended like we made it back in time. We had heated class discussions that turned controversial in a heartbeat, but that's never stopped any of us. We tried to be as productive as possible during study hall, with the exception of the occasional TikTok. Every day we came to a classroom where we were academically and emotionally supported. And I think we got so used to the beauty of middle college that we forgot to thank the people who worked hard to give us this experience. Sean, you are like 7 feet tall, and while that seems really scary, we learned you have many sides. You are a comedian with an attitude, a former house DJ who always asks us for song suggestions, and despite the height difference, you've always treated us as equals. Dina, you may be shorter in stature, but you make up for it in heart. You are our patient yoga instructor, and a giver of many impromptu therapy sessions, fostering creativity and kindness. Thank you for helping us become the young adults we are today. I'm sorry that we didn't know our last days at G1 and G2 would be our last. I'm sorry that we don't get to have a senior ditch day or dance at senior prom. I'm sorry that we don't get to walk across the stage and receive our diplomas. But we're here. We have gotten through the emotionally trying times and mental breakdowns, the struggles of tough professors and college decisions, through the most impossible of deadlines and all of our not-yets. We are finally through it all and out the other end. For us, high school is done. Middle college is over, and in order to move on to the next chapter of our lives, we have to focus on the road ahead. We're all grown up now, and we're expected to have all of the answers. I'm always asked, what are you going to be? Like I've settled on an idea of what my life is going to look like. In all reality, I feel lost. I don't have a single clue about what I want to do or where I want to be in 10 years. Try as we may to get from one step to the next, life doesn't live within the plans we write out for ourselves. So I'm going to say something that you probably already know, but I'm going to say it anyways, because I was asked what I wanted my last words of to our class of 2020 to be, and they are this. Make mistakes. Feel free to mess up, but then learn from it. Middle college will always be there for us, reminding us that we are strong enough to face whatever comes next. I hope that if anything, when you are asked if you know what you want to be, you'll know that it's perfectly okay to say, not yet. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Moe. I am the high school board president, and it is my pleasure to be with you here today on this special occasion. On behalf of the entire Board of Trustees, I would like to thank every person who is joining us for this celebration of the graduates of Middle College Class of 2020. We know that this is not the graduation ceremony that you had originally visioned, watching from your homes with your families. I can imagine that it must be very disappointing to miss out on the traditional celebrations and rites of passage that typically mark this wonderful time. Thank you to all the parents, families, friends, staff members, teachers, and educators who are watching this afternoon and continuing to support these incredible young people who are about to close one chapter of their lives and begin another. To the class of 2020, I am confident that the connections that you have made during your time together in middle college will continue and perhaps be made stronger by the difficulties we are all currently facing. Please hold on to the knowledge that at some point you will be able to gather with your extended family and friends to celebrate your accomplishments in person. Congratulations, good luck, and we wish you the very best. And so, on behalf of the Fremont Union High School District Board of Trustees, I accept and congratulate the Middle College Class of 2020. A diploma from the Students' Home High School and the Fremont Union High School District represents to the community that the graduate has acquired knowledge, attitudes, and skills for ongoing learning, for informed and active citizenship, for membership in the workplace, and for cultural and aesthetic appreciation. Graduation from high school is not a conclusion of learning, but a beginning of learning in a wider arena. We are confident that those of you who receive diplomas today are well prepared and hope that you know and appreciate the challenge of learning every day. We wish you a productive and successful future.
Itzel Dayanira Acevedo-Adame. Trisha Riona Agrawal. Cristian Andres Arizmendi Miranda, Afreen Zahin Azad, Arya Calliope Badra, Romy Maria Bornstein.
Hey, Middle College family, just want to say thank you so much for always being there for me and for making my last 2 years of high school the most memorable years of high school. So thank you, I love you guys, and I'll see you at the reunion.
Roee Dagan, Klara Montanile Daniaud, Surya Varma Dantuluri, Tamar Darom Bendror, Samantha de la Fuente, Angela Louise Doyle, Caitlin Tiana Schouten Driggett, Sundus A. Dwadar, Emma Hatten Ford, Christine Joy de la Cruz Gallagher, Nivedita Gargi, Toma Alexander Grundler, Shreya Guha, Ankit M. Gupta, Jombre Anthony Hebert, Charles Jamie Hu,
Hello, Middle College class of 2020. I've turned myself into a dinosaur, a being from the distant past, to say goodbye to you guys. Good luck, guys. See you later.
Tyler Ben Tai Huang,
Well, we finally graduated. Just in a pretty interesting way.
Valeryia Ivashkevich, Alexander Julian Korobkov, Henry Paul Lassa, Claire Aurora Lyon, Bernadette Lucila Soto Madrigal, Ruby Karina Soto Madrigal, Ale Adin Ala Mustafa, Manasi Girish Navalgankar, Emily Barbara Patton, Aisha Perumkunnathu, Modani Voke Li Fong, Marin Elizabeth Pomeroy, Hannah Yvette Risher, Jessica Isabel Sakor, Vinay Jeremiah Sangamali, Mollie Ann Smurthwaite, Jessamine Joan Talbert.
Hi, my name is Jessica Talbert, and I just want to say thank you to my friends and family for making these 4 years really great. Love you guys.
Shama Omar Tawakal, Angel Luis Vasquez, Ziyi Wang, Gina Catherine White, Scott Thomas Woodward,
Hi, my name is Scott Woodward, and I just want to say that I'm so happy to have been part of the middle college program for these past 2 years. It's been an amazing experience, and I can't wait to see where this all goes.
Haley Michaela Castro Ziegel.
Seniors. Well, the end of the year is finally here, and oh, what a year it's been. The first word that comes to mind is unprecedented, but that would be a gross understatement. A presidential impeachment, a global pandemic, a nationwide protest. Most people experience one of these in a lifetime. You experienced all three in the last 6 months. It was a difficult year, but you made it. There's no denying that nationwide outrage over police brutality and a global pandemic will define your senior year. As your government teacher, I could list off various policies that created our current conditions, but I won't. Instead, as a fellow human being, I want to commend you for the work that you did under the circumstances that you faced. I also want you to know that these crises won't be the only thing that define your senior year. I think it's important that we take some time to acknowledge your individual accomplishments, both large and small. You analyzed the Constitution, debated the necessity of affirmative action, and wrote opinions as Supreme Court justices. You weighed the costs and benefits of college, measured the economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic, and identified the various ways our government can address the impending recession. Your victories have also extended far beyond the walls of the classroom. They happened on the playing field, in the art studio, and at startup tech companies. You've cared for small children and coached volleyball. You have captured beauty in your paintings and drawings. You taught your peers the art of palm reading and how to knit. You marched for equal rights and supported one another during personal challenges. You even mastered the often overlooked art of constructing the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. These are just the accomplishments that I know of. I'm sure your family and friends can attest to a variety of additional achievements each of you has attained. It was a pleasure to teach such a talented and diverse group of individuals, and I'm honored to celebrate your success with you today. As we reflect upon your individual accomplishments, I want you to do two things. First, I want you to be proud of what you've achieved. I know that I speak for your family and friends when I say that we are proud of you and are excited to commemorate your success. Celebration is significant because it serves quite a few purposes. It reminds us of the goals that we set and reinforces the importance of setting goals in the first place. It also creates momentum and motivates us to achieve what we set out to do. Yet while I urge you to be proud of your accomplishments during this time of celebration, I also caution against being satisfied with what has been achieved, for your work in the world is nowhere near complete. Over the last few months, our lives have been completely disrupted. We haven't met face-to-face since March. COVID-19 trackers keep us updated on the number of confirmed cases across the region, the state, the nation, and the globe. News outlets have been flooded with images of civil unrest in cities across the nation, day after day after day. There's a palpable sense of frustration and anger across America. It has become increasingly clear that we have reached a tipping point, and the time for change is now. We cannot be passive in our quest for meaningful and sustainable change. We must be active, so I challenge you to take action. Last semester, you had an opportunity to research a government policy of your choosing. Many of you were dismayed and disheartened by what you discovered. Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you frustrated by a system that ties health insurance to our jobs? What are you going to do about it? Are you angry about the widening wealth inequality in America? What are you going to do about it? Are you disgusted by an immigration policy that separates children from their parents at the border? What are you going to do about it? You might feel powerless in the face of institutions that promote the status quo. You might feel that you are just one voice or just one vote. Well, your voice and your vote is a part of a collective. Collective voices have brought about movements like Black Lives Matter and Me Too. Collective votes led to a Congress that better represents our population in the 2018 midterm elections. Change may not come as fast as you want, but the only way to ensure it continues is to do your part. Earlier in the year, I told you that we turn to our leaders during times of crisis. Our country turned to Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War, to Franklin Roosevelt during the Great Depression and World War II, to George W. Bush after the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Unfortunately, I don't see much leadership as we face our current crises, so I will leave you with a quote from the last president to lead us through a crisis, President Obama, who we turned to during the Great Recession. He was actually Senator Obama when he said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." Congratulations and thank you. Seniors, if you aren't already doing so, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the class of 2020. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from right to left.